Topic: XML document structure and types of XML elements. XML document for the purpose of storage and transformation. HTML for the purpose of display. But both are markup language, we know that. XML elements are self-descriptive elements. This is one important point I would like to mention right now. Self-descriptive tags. It means if we create any element, the element will tell about the content, what it is going to have. We have to create XML elements in that way. It should be very close to problem statement or the information what we are going to make as XML document. If I am going to create XML document for employee, then XML elements, attributes, its value and child as well as subchild elements are related to employee. If we create any XML document for any information, the element should tell about the content. So totally all these are called content. These are the components of XML document elements. The elements can be categorized as parent. Before that we have root element, parent element, child, subchild elements. The elements details, say for example, we want to explore more about the particular element. In the sense, it is possible with the help of an attribute. There is no restriction for having more than one attribute, or we don't have any attribute. It is additional information, which is called properties. So XML elements can have child, subchild elements, attributes and also text. These are the content components of an XML document. Once we have created XML document, we have to specify what are the possible elements, attributes, how many times an element can be appeared, that is repetitive elements. Do we need repetitive elements? Then we have to write all elements. One more, I have added any attribute for any element. The element, say for example, I have student. Student is an element and it has one attribute called roll number and its value is 1808079. This is element, this is attribute value, and the element, that is opening tag, should be closed properly, and also this is closing tag for the element student. So collectively it is called element. Individually this is called tag. What is this? This is closing tag. and this is opening tag. This one is opening tag. So opening tag, closing tag, which should be there for an element. Now we have a question about whether attribute is mandatory for all element. It is only based on the need we can have attributes. Even we have one attribute or more than one attribute, but all the attributes are very close to element. It should not be generic, it should be specific. Then can we have or can we repeat the same attribute for the particular element? No. Only unique attributes are added. Only unique attributes can be added to an element. Say for example, I have a student, roll number, you can give as all in capital letter or all in small letter or sentence case also. Okay, it is our choice, but we have to follow some uniformity. We have created all the attributes in small letters, lower case. The sense all should be in lower case. Student roll number I have 110, then name I have Kavita. Look at here, I have created roll number with value, name with value. These two attributes should not be repeated more than once for student. The same element I should not repeat. And here after closing this tag, I am giving studying computer applications. Right. So what is this? Studying computer applications. Can I have a space? Yes, we can have a space. It is allowed. Text can have this kind of text, and I should close the student element properly. Student, roll number is one of the attribute and name is another attribute. Opening tag, in between opening tag and closing tag, I can have text. This is called text. So all should be close to problem domain. What is the problem? Create an XML document for student. I have created one student record. Can I have one more? Yes, you can have that. Now I have roll number, name I have created. Shall I skip this? Roll number I have given as attribute. Now I want to have roll number as a element slash roll number and name Raju slash name I have. Now I am going to close the student element. Before that, studying computer applications. I have closed these elements properly. Am I right? Roll number, name, studying. Can I have like this? Whether it should be a noun or it should be a verb, it is. If we read this element, we should be able to understand what is the content the element is carrying. That is important. I have closed the student. So this is the way the same XML document can be written like this. Assume that this is one document, this is another document. Okay, this is file 1.xml, this is file 2.xml. No problem for this. This is right. Suppose I don't want to keep it as separate file. I want to make it as the same file. This is student is one record, this is one record, and this is another record. So I should need, I have to make the root tag for this. What is that? Relevant one, students, or student underscore computer applications underscore CA I have, and it is closed properly slash student. Can I have it underscore small ca? No, it should be capital CA. Student underscore CA, student underscore CA. So the element has been closed. This is opening element and this is closing element. It is closed properly. Now, by reading this document, how many records I have? 2 records. One is about Kavita and another one is about Raju. Syntactically, this is right. There is no mistake in the document. When we are going to write structural definition, that is how the student element should be. Student element should have 2 attributes named as roll number and name. If I give like this, then the second record will be invalid. Why? Because I have written a rule that is about student. The student element should have 2 attributes and text alone. In the sense, this document, I mean this second record will be invalid. The same way, if I am writing a rule, that is validation rule, for the second record, student should have roll number, name and studying, 3 child elements. There should not be any attribute. In the sense, the first one becomes invalid. How can I do that? That's what we have to create proper structure. The same structure should be applicable for all records. Student record, student has been repeated more than once. Actually, here we have twice. Child 1 student, child 2 student. Same student element has been repeated. So, even though the XML document is syntactically right, but semantically wrong according to the validation rule. So better we should avoid creating this kind of confused records, child elements, right? Either we can go for this one, that is element with attribute, or element with child element, not both. This is one important thing that we should know. Then types of elements. types of XML elements. What are the various types? Is there is any need to have these types? In the sense, definitely we need. XML documents are user perspective. I can create elements with child elements, subchild elements, and some other author, they may create element without child and subchild element, but the content is not modified. The same content has been taken for writing both XML documents. One is written by myself and another one will be written by someone else. So, XML documents will have collections of elements: root, parent, child, subchild elements, and also the element can have text as well as attribute. So, we should know what are the various types. First one is element with text. Element with text. Then element with attribute. Third, element with child element, one or more. Then empty element. Then element with text, child and attribute. These are the various types of XML elements. If we have this type of elements, then definitely we have to write specific validation rule. I have created an XML document by following all the 5 or any one of the 5 or any combination also possible. So, element with text. Example, this is okay. I can move on to next slide to have the first type, element with text. Employees, and I have an employee, employee ID equal to C1103. It is double quoted. Attribute EID is attribute, that is employee ID, equal to, within double quotes we have to specify the value. So, EID equal to C1103. It's a value for an attribute EID. Employee ID I have given. Then E name, employee name Prabhaharan / E name. Then designation, assistant professor. Can I have dot here? Yes, it is allowed. / designation. Then I am closing an employee, and also I am closing / employee, that is employees. Look at this one, it is properly closed. Which one is root? The employee is a root. Employee is a root. This is root tag. And how many child elements we have for employees? How many child elements for employees? Only one. Only one child. How many child elements for employee? Two. Two children. And this is one. One child element for the root element employees. For the first child, that is employee, the employees is a parent. Okay. And for employee, e-name, designation are two child elements. Okay. Now, the employees root tag has child element, and first child, one and only child element we have for employees is employee, which is single child element which does not have any text, but it has two child elements, 1 and 2. Now, e-name, actually the e-name is a element which is carrying text / e-name. So, the first one, element with text, element with text. What we have, e-name is an example for element with text. Please remember, this is text, can have any characters, special symbols, numeric information, alphabets, anything can be written here. And some of the symbols are not included directly, that are called special entities, that we will discuss the forthcoming sessions. We cannot include greater than symbol, less than symbol, ampersand, single quote, double quote. These are not allowed directly. These symbols or characters should not be included as a text directly. Now we can see element with text. Then next one is element with attribute. Element with attribute. Yes, you are right. This is an attribute. How many elements we have with attribute? Only one, that is employee. Okay, this is element with text. Next, element with attribute. What is that? Employee. Employee, EID we have. Double quotes, C1103. It is closed, and also it should be closed properly. Employee / employee. This is element with attribute. How many attributes we can have? It is depends on the document. N number of attributes are allowed. While including attribute for an element, we should remember that one attribute, that is the same attribute, should not be repeated more than once. Say for example, I have one record as employee. The same way, I would like to have one more record, employee, EID equal to C1104, e-name. Rajesh, designation professor. So there I am repeating employee ID, but not for the same one, not for the same one. I am repeating the EID with the different value for another record. Right. Next, element with child element. Element with child elements, in which an example is this one. Element with child. Is it right? Because the employees is a root tag. Also, it is a parent element which has only one child element, that is employee. I can give this example also. The employee can also be taken for element with child elements. So in this document, how many elements are having child? 2. One is this one, and another one is this one. So employees, plural, employees has one child element, and also the employee, singular, employee has 2 child elements. This is element with child elements. Empty element. What is an empty element? Is there is any situation to include this kind of empty element? Yes, we may have this kind of child element. We want to carry blank space, or we don't want to keep anything. It's like a dummy field. Later it may be filled with any content. In that case, the element can be kept empty. How can I make that? Very simple. Student hobby, nothing. The sense, suppose I have given like this, slash slash hobby slash student. This is a element carrying child element. The child element does not carry any attribute, or does not carry any child elements, does not carry any text, so that it is empty element. Now we may have one more question, whether empty element will be allowed to carry attribute. Yes, it's optional one. We want to keep additional information about the particular element that is not carrying any text or child. In the sense, we can have at least attribute. It's a way to describe empty element. Next, element with text, child and attributes. Is it possible to have? Yes, we can have. Say for example, I am creating an element for school, that is university, name, Shastra. I have closed the opening tag. University has name attribute. Then schools I have, in which first school I have school, look at there, the name attribute of university, name attribute of school. These two are not same. These attributes are different because the name attribute is a additional information about school. The same name attribute is additional information, property for university. So these two are different. School name equal to SOC. I have closed it. I have department, CSE slash department, and another department I am creating slash department, and one more department I would like to have computer applications, not chartered account. Now I would like to close school element slash school. You can check school element has been closed properly. The same way I would like to have another school. Okay, it does not carry any child elements. Okay, I want to keep it as empty. School I don't want to keep any information. There is no text, there is no child element, there is no attribute. So that I'd like to keep like this slash school. Okay, I have this is one child and this is another child, and school has been closed properly, and also university also. Should I close the name? No, it's an attribute. Understand the differences between element and attribute. Element can be carrying child elements, attributes, text, but attribute is an added information. So we need any one entity. For that entity, we are providing additional information. So this is an example for the fifth one. Element with text, child and attribute. Can we check? Element with text. Which one? This one. Element with text. Then element with child elements. School. Element with right. This one. Element with child element. This is another. Then element with attribute. Yes, we have the root tag has attribute. Element with child element, which is empty. This one. Empty element. Then element with all text, child element, attribute. This is the entire document can be a good example. The element with various types we have. After having all these types of elements, we can create the XML document. While making an XML document, we should know one thing, that is the information should not be missed, and attributes are not to be repeated. You may have same attribute for different elements, but for the same element we should not have same attribute more than once. Those are the important points we should remember while making an XML document. First document we would like to create, in the sense, what is the first rule we should follow? In the sense, we have to create root element first. Root element. Then it should be closed properly. If there is any rule for making root element, the rule is root tag should be very close to the entire file itself. I am creating the root element for student information, or any fruits, or any vegetables, or any animals, or any inventory control. In the sense, accordingly I have to make the root element properly. The file name should be very close to XML document. The XML document file name should be based on the root element. These are valuable information while making an XML document, while making an element, attribute, text. We should keep all this in mind. Then, if there is any rule for having only child elements pattern or attribute pattern or combined, in the sense, this is also based on the need. Sometimes we want to get all this information and publish them on web. It's a kind of transformation. So it is very easy to fetch record by record. So I should go for element oriented. Element oriented. Then I have attribute oriented. I don't want to have lot of elements. All the information are very tiny, and all this information are very short about a particular entity. In the sense, I can go for attribute based. Large students information processing system, huge amount of records about each and every student, and also each and every student will have unique properties, additional information. I can have elements as well as attributes. Number of students, exploring all students, all students. I could go for element oriented. Explore a particular student. I can go for attribute. Say for example, fruit. Fruit. The fruit element can have lot of properties. The same way, I will not repeat more than one fruit. Actually, I have only one fruit. That fruit element, I want to give additional properties to the fruit element. I don't want to explore more than one fruit. In the sense, I can go for single element with multiple attributes. Fruit type, fruit type, sweet, color, okay, then where it is available. Tamil Nadu. Look at here. I have written one by one. Is it right? Yeah, no problem for this. It is also valid method of writing element with attributes. But we have to close it. Banana. And I have closed this with closing tag. Okay. This is the way we have to write an XML element. After making XML element, we have to go through that XML elements, whether it is repeated. If it is repeated, then we have to create relevant document type definition or schema definition for the given XML document. So which one is first? This is XML document. How can we extract information from an XML for the XML document? In the sense, it is very simple. We have to find all nouns and verbs. By making or extracting nouns and verbs from a given information, we can make XML document very simple. I want to make some of the fruits are available all the seasons. Some of the fruits are not available all the seasons. Most of the fruits are very tasty, and people, we are loving to eat all fruits. No restriction for the fruits. This is the example information I have given. From this, how can we retrieve elements and attributes? First, we have to retrieve the noun from this problem scenario. I am talking about fruits, so that I am making fruits as a root tag slash fruit. Then I am talking about many fruits, so definitely the fruit will be repeated. This is one fruit, and its taste, color, and I would like to repeat one more fruit. Taste, also sweet, color, yellow. Look at there. Now I am going to make a new thing here. That is, I am adding 4 close slash. Okay, this is the way I can close empty element. Okay, the empty element can be closed. This is what force close. Actually, I don't want to keep any text or child element. In the sense, I can close the element by force, so that the fruit element has been closed. Another fruit also closed. These 2 fruit elements are carrying only 2 attributes, but there is no child elements or subchild elements or text. That is important, so that the element is called empty element. Okay. The fruit has been closed properly. So we have to remember one important thing, that is extraction of noun and verbs from the given problem statement is very important. We should not miss any content. By reading XML elements, the author or the readers should be able to understand the purpose of making this XML document without losing any information. That's all about this. Thank you.